Here.
Thank you. Bruce Burke.
Present.
Thank you. Cindy Ayala.
Here.
Thank you. Dale Calvert.
Here.
Thank you. Leanne Hernandez.
Here.
Thank you. Liz Soltero. Not see her. Ian Johnson.
Here.
Thank you. Jesse Lugo. I do not see him logged in. Ned Beeman. Not see him either. And Paul Smith is also out, but we do have quorum.
Okay, thank you. The chair would entertain have people had a chance to read the minutes? And if you have, are we ready to make a motion to approve?
Mr. Chair, this is Al Wyrus.
Yes.
I got a couple of comments in from my notes from that I took. In number 5, where it's listed, where we were discussing the $2 million given to each one of the wards. One of the comments that we were told by the city spokesperson is that the mayor had given her funds to Ward 1 to be used for something, and I don't have that in my minutes. I saw nothing in our minutes to say that, to indicate that the mayor had allotted her funds to Ward 1. Also, Commissioner Lugo had indicated as part of the discussions that the proposition funds should be used for neighborhood roads and not for bike lanes. And after a lot of discussion back and forth, I'm not sure, it might have been Mr. Graham. Somebody said that Mr. Lugo's comments would be put in the minutes of the meeting, at least regarding his concern about where the funds were being used. And I didn't see that. And the other comment I have is on number 6. In my notes, I got the impression that the tribe wanted the city to purchase the right-of-way on Los Realos in their area. And Mike Graham had said that the proposition did not allow for that, for purchase of the right-of-way. And I didn't see anything talking about, I got the impression it said that the tribe wanted the city to purchase the road, or they wanted, I got confused, and so maybe somebody could help me on that number 6. But those are the 2 things I have a concern, or 3 things that I have a concern regarding the minutes. Everything else is fine.
Okay, do you want to answer, Mike, about the Los Realos situation?
So the Los Realos, basically the city of Tucson owns, it's a 2-lane road, 1 lane in each direction. The city of Tucson owns the northern lane, which is westbound, and the tribe owns the southern lane, which is eastbound. And in order for us to reconstruct the roadway, to be able to reconstruct the roadway, they were going to have us purchase their section of roadway, but there's no funding in Prop 101 that allows for us to buy right-of-way. And so we nixed that project, and we added a replacement project.
Okay, so yeah, I guess my concern was when the word right-of-way and road, with different things, I guess. To me, right-of-way is off the road, like where you would put landscaping and that kind of stuff, rather than the purchase of the southern section of Los Realos that belongs to the tribe. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we own half the road, and the nation owns the other half of the road.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then Al, related to your second comment, the last sentence in 5, or the next to the last sentence in 5 reads, Mr. Lugo felt the funds should only be used for neighborhood street improvements and not for safety enhancements or GSI projects. Isn't that?
Well, yeah, yeah, he specifically said for bike lanes, is GSI, if that, he didn't say for safety, he was saying for the bicycle lanes. So that's why I brought that comment up. Maybe Michael can help us on that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
Well,
we could,
Yeah.
I was just curious, if safety or GSI, is that a bicycle lane?
no, GSI
you
is
know.
green stormwater infrastructure, and the safety
Okay.
elements, it's not bicycle lanes, so.
Mr. Chair,
Okay,
I can adjust the minutes and have it include the bicycle boulevards in there as well.
Okay, that would be fine. And what was the other one, Al, just for, make sure we got them?
the other was, there was no indication in the current draft minutes that the mayor had selected to give her funds to Ward 1. It didn't say, I don't know if, I don't think we said any specific project or not, but there's nothing in the draft that says that she had allocated her funds, her $2 million to the Ward 1.
It actually went to Ward 5.
Mhm. Actually went to Ward 5? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I had Ward 1 written, I'm sorry, Ward 5. If that's
Yeah.
Ward 5, then
Okay. Can we just insert a sentence for that effect, Mike?
Yes,
Sure.
I can
Otherwise,
adjust the
then I-
minutes.
Yeah, okay. Very
then
good.
with those
Minutes
changes,
reflect that.
I would, with those changes, then I would like to submit a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Okay,
I'll second it.
okay. Who said they'll second it?
I did. I'm Cindy.
Okay, great. Thank you, Cindy. Do we have any other discussion? Seeing no hands flying up, I'll say we have none. With that, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
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 Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, we do have to do a roll call.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that. But 3 months between meetings, I guess I just get stupid.
Okay,
Go ahead with the roll call then.
okay, thank you. Al Wyroot,
Here. And aye.
okay.
Sorry.
Bruce Burke,
Yes.
thank you. Cindy Ayala,
Yes.
thank you. Dale Calvert,
Yes.
thank you. Leanne Hernandez,
Yes.
thank you. Ian Johnson,
Yes.
thank you. Ned Beeman,
Yes.
thank you. And we do have an approval, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to item 3 in the menu, call to the audience. Do we have any submitted requests to speak?
I did not receive any requests personally.
Okay. Have we got anybody that signed on that wishes to speak?
I do. I'd like to make a comment, please.
Yes, who are you? One name and
I'm
address?
Cindy. I'm Cindy.
Mhm.
And just to let everybody know, and I know this has been brought up before, but can we please start having the meetings in person? This is starting to drive me completely nuts and I miss the pizza. Just saying.
Any updates on that, Mike?
So the last update that I heard was that the waiting for the city clerk's office to approve in-person meetings for boards and commissions. And I have not heard anything different, that the clerk's office has announced that we can go back to in-person meetings. But I can check on that again tomorrow and get with Letty, and then she can let you all know what the game plan is. So
I would really
Okay.
appreciate it. I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, but the fact of the matter is I've already attended 3 city meetings in person, and for this to be taking this long and everybody else is already doing it is A little bit idiotic, don't you think?
I'll
I'm
check,
just throwing
Cindy.
that up here. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, now let's move on to item 4. Prop 101 updates, financial report. Jeff Whiting.
Good evening, everybody. Let me share my screen. If you could, once that comes up, just confirm for me that you can see that.
We see it.
You can see it. All right, outstanding. So just to kind of start with our usual sheets here. Page 1, you'll see that year to date through FY22, we collected $28,781,494. If you pair that or add that to the previously collected $94,494,942, you get a grand total of $123,276,436. Now that breaks down respectfully between the local on the arterials, as shown here. And we also have a breakdown of what the program has spent inception to date, what we currently have encumbered or contracted to do, and the remaining balance of funds that we have available to continue to deliver on the work that we promised the voters. Basically, the main takeaway here that I would like everybody to see is that we budgeted or originally projected that we would bring in 100 million, but we've brought in just over 123 million. So we have outperformed our revenues by just over 23 million. The graphic that you see towards the bottom of that sheet is just a visual representation of the same numbers that are given in the table above. Any initial questions here?
Yeah, Jeff, before we go, and Mike can chime in on this if he needs to, but is there any progress as to what we're going to do as far as the additional funds? Are we going to allocate that? Is that what it's going to happen, Mike, or is there the council going to do something? What's the, or is there
Mike,
a plan?
I'm happy to take a stab at it, or if you have additional information.
Yeah,
so the information I had last, and we're going to get into it a little bit more as we move into the subsequent sheets, is that we do want to start thinking about what we're going to do with our surplus dollars.
Okay.
The problem that we're running into is we don't want to plan for $23 million worth of work if after all things are said and done, we only have 12 million to actually work with. So I think that that's part of what we are waiting in order to solidify where we go next. But the expectation as laid out in the voter approved language is that this body would make a recommendation that would then go to mayor and council for them to approve or deny or alter once we're ready to move forward and we feel comfortable that we know exactly where we're going to end up money wise. Is that fair, Mike? Anything to add there? Okay. Does that answer your question, Mr. Chair?
Yes, that definitely answers my question, and I appreciate the update. And I understand, I thoroughly endorse the waiting to see for that reason. If we look at what's happening to petroleum costs and everything else, it would be real easy to get ahead of ourselves. So,
indeed, sir.
Okay, I take it you want to move on to the rest of the
looks
report.
Mr. Chairman,
looks like Mr. Burke may have a question.
Yeah. Yes.
Question for Jeff. Jeff, is this month the last month in which that tax under the current proposition will be collected, and so that we know that we're at a final dollar amount, or is there more to come?
So Prop 101 did end its collection of revenues as of June 30th. So there will be no new funds added. However, due to the way that we receive these funds is it comes to us through the state. So there may be a few additional dollars that are reported to us in the next week or so. The only other changes that you would see above above and beyond that is potentially interest earned on the money that we've collected. But this is pretty close to where we're going to end up and what we will have to work with.
So that leads to the question, I guess the thought that we can now begin planning in earnest, because we know what the dollar amounts are. We don't yet know what the costs of the projects might be.
Correct. And in the subsequent slides, I'll be able to maybe give a little bit more insight to some of those costs and some of the consideration that we would want to kind of have play into any recommendations that come next.
Thank you.
Okay, any more questions before we move on? Seeing none, go ahead, Jeff.
All right. So scrolling down here, we have our arterial roads. Now, I did zoom in just in order to be able to see the screen. Is this good for everybody to read?
No, it's not very readable, but on my computer, if somebody with bigger screen's probably okay. Yeah.
I can zoom in a little bit more. It just won't capture the entirety of the screen. So
Yeah, understood.
What we want to see here, or the message being conveyed here, is our target or our budgets for each of the different packages that we have is along this line. And if you scroll all the way to the right, you'll see that we had originally projected that it would take $62,224,893 in order to deliver our arterial packages. As it stands right now, not all of our packages have fully gone through the procurement process, but we are currently projecting that it'll actually take $64,009,148 to deliver the program as it currently is laid out, which means that we are over budget by about $1,784,225. I do anticipate, with everything that is going on in the world, and with everything that is going on with the cost of construction-related materials, this number may grow a little bit as we learn more through our various procurements for services. But as it stands right now, our arterials are projected to be 1.7 million more than what we originally intended. So that 1.7 would come out of that 23 million that we brought in surplus revenues. Does that make sense?
Does
and-
anybody have a question? Yes, fire away. No questions? Okay.
And just as a matter of context, and I can jump back between these two, same situation with regards to the arterials, I'm sorry, the locals. We originally projected $40,148,518 to fully deliver. As of today, we're projecting that it's going to cost us $43,421,933, which gives us a deficit of $3,273,415. When you combine those together, it is, let's see here, I had written it down, $5,057,670 that we are projected to be over budget between the two sides of the program. That would come out again of the 23 million, leaving us a current projected surplus of $18,276,642. These are our best projections as of today and what we know with regards to the market today. However, I would caution that we should expect it to grow a little bit more. I do not believe that we will find ourselves in a situation where the surplus revenues that we have collected wouldn't be enough to deliver. I think it'll be more than enough and that we will have a surplus in the long run. But I just wanted to make sure that that was kind of set up with the right context. Any questions on either the local or the arterials that I could help answer for the group?
I'm seeing and hearing none. Anybody got a question? I guess
All right,
the
Mr.
answer is
Chair.
no.
I'll turn it
Thank
back over
you.
to you, sir.
Thank you. With that, I think we move on to the arterial project updates. And we have Mike listed as the reporting person. Are you ready to go, Mike?
Actually, Sarah was supposed to be off this week, so I had put myself to discuss on the agenda, but Sarah is she has joined us today, so Sarah will give the update.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hello. Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the commission and everyone. Yes, I was supposed to be gone, but I am here. So the trip has been postponed. So let me
We're
just.
glad to see you.
Nice to see everyone. And hoping to get some rain this week. All right, let me just share this. Okay, I will jump to package 4, and as you all know, 6 Ave was completed some time ago, back in early 2021, and Main and Granada was completed this spring. Substantial completion was granted back in May. And so we have the remaining segment is 6 Ave from Valencia to Los Reales, which we approved, I believe, at the April BOC meeting. And the contractor is planning to start work in November on that. And but first, we'll be doing Cushing. And that has been advanced from package 10. So I will get to that further down. Rehab package 5, you all have heard about that in the past, what I refer to as the super project. And it is in design and it is scheduled to be in construction next summer. I will defer to Sam as to the Prop 407 component, if that will be in. I think that is still being determined, or if that will be separated out. But regardless, the Prop 101 pavement project and the water line, which has to be done, and the road right sizing is still the potential, I should say, road right sizing. That's still being evaluated, but that will that project will go to construction next summer. Fog seal package 6 is almost complete. All we're doing now, all that remains is to finish the second coat of the striping, which is scheduled to be completed in mid-August. It has been challenging with the amount of work currently of pavement work. It has been challenging for our contractor to get the striping crew, but the fog seal work was completed back in June, so that is nearing the end. Rehab package 7, we reached a substantial completion just last Friday. That is Grant, Glen, Fort Lowell, and Wilmot. So I don't know if you've had a chance to see that, but I think it's looking really good. A significant improvement, and the ramps, we completed 110 ramps for that project. So anyhow, that is just about done. We have some striping arrows to just touch up, and that is it. Okay, rehab package 8 design is done. Same with package 12, that's Silver Bell. Those 2 design is complete and they are ready to prepare for bid advertisement. Next is the 2 fog seals, packages 9 and 11. Those are the 2 remaining fog seals, and those are in design now. We're looking to advertise those later this year, towards the end of the year. And Jeff, this is something we'll be discussing, is the possibility of bidding those together for efficiencies. But anyhow, those are in design. And I will move to package 10. That is the downtown package. So that is in design. Design is scheduled to be complete in December. This project is also scheduled to go to construction, to be in construction next summer. And Cushing has been advanced. And the reason is for the L Tour. The L Tour this year is on November 19th. And I have been working with our contractor for package 4 is Borderland, and they are going to start work in mid-September. And they will be complete. They will finish the work by the end of October. So they will just be doing the pavement work. We will not do the ADA improvements at this time. That will be done with the rest of rehab package 10 next year. But the pavement, I think, as you all are aware, is in not good condition. So we are going to reconstruct the pavement from granite to stone. So that is getting fast tracked. And that is it. Does anyone have any questions?
Anybody else have any questions?
I've got a question. This is Ian speaking.
Hi,
Okay, go ahead, Ian.
Yeah, I was just curious. I recognize that the it's just the paving for now on Cushing, but were there any changes to the striping or any modifications to that road, the way it's laid out, or is that going to wait until like Church and the rest of it is done?
No, we will make any modifications to the existing striping at this time. So in September, October. And so I am working with planning and traffic. We had a meeting a few weeks ago to go over the alternatives. And we had a meeting just recently with TPD and Park Tucson to discuss potentially changing the parking in front of the police/fire station there if we want to do parallel or angled. So we're looking at that now, and that will be done. That will be incorporated with this project.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Sure.
I've got one, but if anybody else got one? Okay, Sarah, just a question on timing, and I assume it's down the road, but the Silver Bell water line project and repaving, what's the timing on that?
Well, my plate is clearing. So it's been a very busy first half of 2022 with the 5 projects in construction, 3 of them being Prop 101s, but I'm down to the last one to grant substantial completion. Also, as I mentioned, Cushing has become a high priority, top priority, that, and will be followed by 6th. But I will also be able to turn my attention to getting Silver Bell package 12 and 8 out to bid.
So that's a to be determined. Yep.
As soon as humanly possible, to quote Robin.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else have any other questions before we move on to the residential? Okay. Not hearing any. Thank you, Sarah. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Local streets. Austin, are you about ready to go?
Yes, sir. Good evening, all. 1 second. So, the packages, the remaining update from last time was that packages 4 and 6 are now complete. We're in project closeout. We're wrapping up, making sure that the final pay estimates and everything like that are all and the punch list items are squared away. Packages 7 and 8 are up next. We've been monitoring the oil prices, and I think we found ourselves a window to get them on the street and get ourselves in line at the spigot for the oil. So Miracle Manor, Mesa Verde, Coronado Heights, those we're going to get to procurement at the end of this month, with construction beginning earlier this fall. And then package 8, Valley View East and Centennial Park and Estes Park. We're pulling together those bid documents, and we'll be putting that work out at the end of August, with construction following after that. And
Okay.
that's where we're at.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions?
Yeah, I do. This is Cindy.
Okay, go ahead,
so
Cindy.
package 7 and 8, they're both going to be going out come August. Is that what you just said?
The to procurement by the end of the month for package 7, and then package 8 by the end of August, just to separate out the two contracts.
Any other questions, Cindy? Anybody else?
We're good.
Go ahead. Okay. I don't have any other questions. I guess unless somebody else says something shortly, I'm going to move on.
Thanks, Al.
Okay, thank you. Next up is the citizen request log. Mike?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. There it is. Great, thank you. So since we last met, April 25th was our last meeting that we had. There have been 56 new additions added to the citizen request log. Prop 411 it passed on May 17th, and so what the team decided to do was start tracking the request coming in as being part of Prop 411, because that's our funding source now to repair every neighborhood street within the city of Tucson. So as you can see, when you receive the CRL, that we put a line in one of the rows that showed when 411 passed, and everything since that point has been a request from citizens that we are tracking for Prop 411.
Okay. Thank you.
Like I said, we've had 56 new additions since the April 25th meeting.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, any questions about that? No, we've got a quiet group tonight.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you,
Michael?
Mike,
I got a question.
Go ahead.
This is Al. I have a question for Michael. Okay, the citizens request, you've got it for 411, but does that mean you're going to go with priority based on the citizens request log, or I know you don't have the committee yet, so I guess they don't know how they're going to select. Is that correct?
So the citizen request log isn't a priority list, Al. The request log is just a tracking mechanism for us. You know, when people call, and we started this back with Prop 409. This would have been probably 2014, somewhere there, 2013. We started tracking the requests that come in. So it's not a priority. It's not a priority list. It's just a tracking mechanism for us to provide to you, to let you all know that these are the neighborhoods. These are the folks that are calling us, emailing us, wanting their neighborhoods or streets repaved.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other questions? I hear none, so I guess we're through that. The next item is future meeting date and format and agenda items. I'm not sure what you mean, Mike, by format. meeting date I think we can talk about, but
So once again, the format is, I need to call the clerk's office tomorrow. And I'll get more
Okay.
information on type of, if we're going back to in person, if we're doing hybrid, and that's a decision that, once we get the green light from the clerk's office, or I hear back from them, that's a decision that we'll let you all make on how you want to hold your future meetings. So that's the format part of that. And I should, like I said, have some type of answer tomorrow, and we'll let you guys know.
okay. Thank you. Okay, now, future agenda items. Obviously, the pending future agenda item that we're not ready to schedule is what we do with the excess money once we know what it is. But does anybody have any requests for other agenda items?
Mr. Chair, this is
Mr.
Ian.
Chair,
Ian, go ahead.
What I was just going to say, there's a couple things that I would love to have, as part of that exact discussion. One is I know that it's, who knows what it's going to be when all is said and done, but it looks like it's going to be like maybe like $7 million for the residential neighborhoods. So it's not relatively speaking, not a ton of money, but because of that, I was hoping we could have a discussion about, are we, as a committee, are we going to recommend that, we continue with a full reconstruct for the residential streets? Or do we want to make it go a little further and do it more like the 411, which will be happening in the future, which is all not going to be reconstruction? So I would love to have that, obviously be part of the conversation. And then also, I would love to make sure that we have some input with that discussion before the city comes to us with their suggestions, so that we actually have some input upstream of the recommended, blocks that they're going to come forward with, presumably. Yeah, so that's it.
Okay, thank you.
So, Ian, can I just clarify real quick? So what you'd like to have on the agenda for the next meeting would be a discussion on the Bond Oversight Committee discussing the treatment types for the excess funds within Prop 101. Is that correct?
Yes, I think that's important.
Okay. All right, good. Thank you.
Okay. Did you have a second question, Ian?
Just ensuring that our next meeting, we aren't presented with an already manufactured list of proposed quadrants to blocks, squares to pave. I would love to make sure that we meet again before that process has started, so that we actually have a little bit more input. Who knows what'll happen, but it would be nice to have some input before the suggestions, so that we're not just saying, sure, these sound great. You know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying, Ian, and I agree with it. But in addition, I think there's looking at what we just talked about, things going to bid and that we're not going to have fully bid most of the work until after the first of the year, if I'm remembering what we just said a little while ago. So I think we'll at least have another meeting. But yes, we want to have this discussion first. So
thank you.
Okay. Anybody
Mr.
have any
Chair?
other comments or requests?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, this is Al.
Yes, go ahead.
One of the things I would like to have a presentation, the county early on, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, was checking and doing some work on roads and seeing what kind of treatment was holding up over there on the west side. And it might be good to get an update, because maybe some kind of treatment might be beneficial for local neighborhood roads coming up under the 411, and just something that maybe could be passed on to that committee, however it's set up. But I think it'd be nice to hear how the county is going through their treatment of roads.
So
I hope that makes sense.
So Al and Dale, I did that presentation to the BOC probably about 3 meetings ago. I had gotten with the county and they had provided data to me on those different treatment types that they did on the southwest side. And I could, pull that memo back up and present that to you all again. Unless things have changed and they've made, that they've relooked at the different processes that they used. So I can check with the county and see if they have any new updates. If not, it would be the updates that I provided to the BOC, I think 3 meetings ago. I don't know.
Okay, that would be fine, Michael.
Huh?
He
That
said
would be fine, Michael.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes, Bruce.
This is Al again.
Okay, Al.
This is Al again. One of the things, Michael and I talked earlier this week when we happened to be over at the Centennial Hall. The mayor and council haven't yet figured out how they're gonna handle the 4-111 committee or commission. If something changes in the next couple of months before we have our new meeting, and they come up with a decision and we're not, that might be something to know about at our meeting. I mean, who's going to be on it or how they plan to come up with their, I know they're having 2 commissions, but one of them is for picking the roads and stuff like that. If something happens, if it doesn't, then we get nothing's happened yet.
Basically, what you're asking is to get a report on the status of the update commission for 411. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Bruce, you're muted.
Yeah, Bruce.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
No problem.
Well,
Did you have something?
I wasn't at the Centennial Hall to meet Michael in person to discuss this. In fact, that was my question. So Al anticipated my issue, and I just appreciate knowing when and if that's decided.
Yeah. Mike, I think there's several committee members who would like that, so obviously that becomes a question. So.
And I guess the next question is, where do we meet Michael at Centennial Hall if we want to? That's a joke, Mike.
Okay. I got all this written down, so.
Okay. Very good. Do we have any other additional questions or topics? I'm hearing silence.
Ned had his hand up earlier.
I was gonna say Ned, yes.
Okay. You've got 2 big arterial projects that are going to be bid out sometime next year, correct?
Yes.
So the excess money sort of a moot point until those go out to bid, isn't it?
I'm sorry, I'm not following, man.
Well, you aren't going to know how much extra money you're going to have until the last 2 big projects get bid out.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I was referring to about Ian's question. It's going to be a while before we know what the final numbers are.
Yeah, it's going to be sometime March, April of next year by the looks of your scheduling.
Yes. And that's what I was referring to. So I agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, timing, I don't see us. We're getting a microphone feedback here somewhere.
Yeah, just make sure you're muted unless you're speaking.
Yeah. If you're not speaking, please mute. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I don't see us, and Mike can chime in here, but I don't see us getting around to wrapping up until at least the middle of next year. Is that what you would think, Mike? Because we got projects that are going to be going out to construction January, February, March anyway. So.
Right, and Fifth Street probably won't start work until the summer. I think that's what Sarah had talked about.
Yeah, she did. She did talk about that. So I think we're talking about finishing to get our job finished with this project. We're looking at fall of next year at a minimum. So.
Yeah. Looks like.
Yeah. So does that answer your question, Ned? Okay.
So then what are we pulling off the next agenda then? The input on selecting polygons or the treatment types for the excess funds. So I guess it would be the treatment type with the excess funds. That's what we will not put on the agenda.
Yeah, I would say so. I think, you can give us back a report as to what the status of it is. And
okay.
then we can, if there is some purpose in putting it on the agenda for discussion, we can take your status report and decide whether we need to do something.
Okay. I'll work with Jeffrey on that.
Okay. Any other questions?
Did you select a meeting date?
We have not selected a meeting date. I need to get out a calendar.
Michael, what's your suggestion for when we should meet again, given all the discussion we've had?
I mean, probably within three months or so, 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, okay. I'm thinking we would want to meet in October on a kind of a quarterly update.
Probably.
And so, like I would say the 17th or the 24th about when they can get everything, probably the 24th of October.
Well,
any comments on?
Just to start the conversation, that date works for me, that either the 17th or the 24th.
Okay.
The 17th would suit me.
Okay, the 17th you said?
Yeah, the 17th looks better.
Okay.
This is Leanne. The 17th would be better for me as well.
Okay. Any other comments that people have preferences? 17th through the 24th? Because they both work for me too. With not hearing any further comments, shall we lock in the 17th as long as that works for the staff?
Yep. I can. We'll put that on our calendar.
Okay.
And hopefully by then we can meet in person.
Yeah, and some pizza.
Oh yeah.
No. Yeah, but get our free piece of pizza. So
there you go.
Yeah. We get that approved, maybe we get that approved.
I think Ned has his hand up. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh.
Who has their hand up? Oh,
I think it's a
Ned
mistake.
Does. You got it.
Ned does.
Ned does. You got a question, Ned?
Nope.
Okay. We're done then, I guess.
Well, just note that someone's made a recommendation for the place to get the pizza on the chat. That's it. All right, we'll see everybody then.
That's
okay.
the tradition. Just picking up the tradition where we left off.
Okay, good.